Hi everyone, my name is Jaclyn Salem. This is episode 2 of the Brooklyn Knitfolk podcast. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry is at Jaclyn Salem. I am a graphic designer living in Brooklyn, New York City, although currently I'm at my parents' house in Nashville, Tennessee. And thank you so much for being here today. I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who has messaged me on Ravelry and on Instagram. You guys are the reason why I'm doing this, because I love this community so much, and everything that you guys have said, if you just saying hello or that you loved the first episode, it totally makes my day every time you say that. I'm constantly texting my mom like with updates about like different things that people say, or like inspiring other people to do projects that I'm making. So anyway, yeah, it's been great, and I'm just really loving it so far. So thank you so much to everything everyone has said to me. It's been wonderful so far. So like I mentioned, I'm a graphic designer living in Brooklyn, New York, but I am currently in Tennessee right now for the Thanksgiving holiday. I went to Knoxville first in the mountains to stay with my sister, saw some old friends. I was in my friend's wedding. Hi Tommy. And it was just beautiful. Loved it. So I'm going back to New York on Monday, but I thought I would go ahead and film an episode while I was here so that I could get it out to you guys this weekend. So let's jump right in. Finished objects. So I was inspired by the Mandarins podcast and also Little Bobbins Knits, Danny, to make these simple house slippers. Sorry, they're a little dirty because my mom has been wearing them. So they're from Temple of Knit, templeofknit.com, and it's called the Simple House Slipper. It's a free pattern. It starts out with like a little garter stitch section, and then you knit in the round to the toe. And yeah, sorry, like I said, she's been wearing them. So they're super, super simple to make. This is definitely a beginner's project. I made both of these in probably 3 Hallmark movies, which no shame. I love Hallmark movies. My mom and my sister used to watch them, or they still do, all the time, and I hated them until finally, like I guess 2 years ago, I just gave up on disliking them and just let myself love them. Yes, I love them. Hallmark movies. Anyway, 3 Hallmark movies. These bad boys were done. I made it on Plymouth worsted Galway yarn in the Eggplant color. They're 100% wool, so they'll be really, really warm, quite squishy because it's the worsted weight, and I knit them on size 7 dpns. Yeah, super cute. Originally, I was going to make these for myself, but then I knit the first one way too big for my foot. I didn't account for any kind of negative ease or like slippers fitting a little, snugly on my feet like I like them to fit. And so once I saw the first one was so big, I was like, well, I could rip this out, or, I could just go ahead and make the other one the same size and give them to my mom because I know she'll love them, which she did. So she tried them on. She loves them. She's already been wearing them, like I said. And yeah, so I was going to attach a pom-pom to each of them, to like this part right here. And I met up with Katrina from the Yarn 30 podcast, also Cat's Kettle on Instagram, to go to a local yarn store in Knoxville, Tennessee, and just kind of knit and hang out with her for a little bit. And I asked if she would bring her small pom-pom maker, or her smallest one, because I left all of mine in New York because I didn't really think I was going to need them. And I made the pom-pom. Let's see. And I didn't trim it or anything. I guess I could trim it to size, but this is it. It's I think a little much for this. What do you guys think? Yeah, obviously. This is what's left over after I had both of the slippers knit up and the pom-pom. I think I could easily get 2 slippers out of these if I didn't make pom-poms with them. So yeah, DPNs, size, what did I say? Yeah, size 7, 4.5 millimeter. Just some bamboo clover things. So there those are. I like how they turned out. I'm definitely going to make a pair for myself after I get back home and have access to all of my stash yarn. This was just knit out of some stuff that I picked up at a local yarn store for on the cheap for sale. And actually, I asked my dad. My dad is like I mentioned in my first podcast, very handy, and like he would troubleshoot my sewing problems and anything like that when I was young. And he was asking me tons of questions as I've been knitting on my Doodler as I've been home, since I've been home. And I was like, well, would you wear some of these if I made them for you? Because I wouldn't have expected him to. And he's like, yeah, I think I would. I got so excited about that because I just didn't expect my dad to be the kind of person to wear hand knit items. So I think he'd be like a socks and slippers kind of guy. So I think I'm going to make some of these for him for Christmas because I'm already making the shawl, the bonbon shawlette that I showed you in the first episode for my mom, and the Guernsey wrap for my sister. So I think I'll knit him up a pair of these slippers. Probably not in purple. Right, moving on. Project bags. So I have like no project bags. My first one was this one that Katrina made for me because I didn't have any of them. So as a sewer, I decided to take it upon myself to make these. I saw this Ghastlies print fabric. I think it was from the Fawn Knits. She had some from some project bags that she sold on her Etsy. And after I saw the Halloween version, this is the Christmas one, she didn't have this one, but she had a Halloween version of the Ghastlies print fabric. I don't even really know what the Ghastlies are. It looks familiar to me. I'm thinking it might be an Edward Gorey thing, but I don't know for sure. After I saw that fabric though, I stalked the internet until I could find it because I loved it so much, and I was like, this will be perfect for me to make some stuff for myself. So this is the Purl SoHo Easy Drawstring bag. This is the large one, the Christmas version. Look at those characters. Are they not hilarious? Love it. Love it, love it. Yeah, this is the large colorway. If you want to make some bags for yourself, this is a super easy, very beginner project, I think, to make if you're not, a huge sewer but need some stuff for yourself. I don't plan on selling these or anything like that. This is just because I needed some. Just a little drawstring bag. That's what I had my Temple of Knit Simple House Slippers in. So that's the first one that I made. Is just this little Christmas bag. And the second one, this is the fabric that I saw on the Fawn Knits. It was a Halloween theme. Again, the Ghastlies print just in the Halloween. And look at that little witch. Is she funny? Cracks me up. And I thought the Purl SoHo pattern calls for, like in this Christmas one here, to thread the ribbon through both sides. But as I was making it, and my mom mentioned it too when I was threading the ribbon through, this is like a lot of ribbon that I think it's kind of unnecessary. And it keeps getting like, this one of them is always wanting to pull into it with the two of them. And I think it's easier to pull them closed when you can just like do that, but I think it's just too wasteful of the ribbon, so I'm gonna, from now on when I make this bag, I'll probably just do the one side, yeah. So that's the second one I made. So that's 3 finished objects in the past couple weeks, because I have been knitting pretty monogamously on the Doodler, which I will show you now. So if you don't want to see it, that's fine, but I'm only on clue 2. I'm about to finish up clue 2, so the last one's already been released, so you've probably already seen all of these by now. Get my needles unstabbed from it. So last time that I showed this to you was on where this stitch marker is right here. This is from Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast when she was visiting in New York. So I knit the rest of clue 1, get back here, and then I've started the cables on clue 2, which is this top portion right here. It's knit on, what size? Size US 4, 3.5 millimeter needles. The speckled yarn is Hedgehog Fibres in the Monarch colorway. This little red one here is the Madeline Tosh Merino Light in Tart. And then I decided, if you saw in the first episode on my like 5 different yarn selections process that I went through, that the red just wasn't working for me, but I didn't want to rip it out, so I changed over to this kind of highlighter pink. It's called Neon Peach in the Tosh Merino light. And that's what Clue B is, or Clue 2 for the cable. This is my first cable too, and it's surprisingly simple. I don't know if all cables are this simple, but I was kind of worried when I looked at the project, or the pattern, and I was like, oh, never made a cable before, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, it's surprisingly simple. I have to say though, when I first saw some of the spoilers, after Clue 2 was released, I didn't want to look at spoilers because I liked the idea of, you know, seeing it for the first time myself. Although at the same time, it's like also kind of doesn't bother me because everybody's is looking different. But the Clue 2, I really wasn't so crazy about how it looked. I'm still not. But I really love Clue 1 so much, and after I looked at a couple spoilers of Clue 3, and it's, I think, kind of coming together in a way that I would wear it, but, and of course I wouldn't, after all this work, and being a new knitter, I probably wouldn't rip it out anyway right now. So I wasn't super crazy about how Clue 2 looked, but then after seeing Clue 3, I thought I would just keep going. So yeah, oops, that's the back. So yeah, this is how it's turning out. Excited. I hear that Clue 3 is really, really long rows, like over 500 stitch counts, so that'll probably be some slogging, but we'll see how it goes. So that is my first work in progress for now. Second one, which you've already seen last week, and I was not really able to make a ton of progress on this just because I've been, this is a present for my sister for Christmas, and I've been with her so much and I didn't want her to see it, so I could really only knit it while she was away. So that stitch marker is where I was last time. This is made out of Quince & Co. Lark in their Kumlien's Gull colorway. The stitch definition on this is fantastic. Sorry, it's a little wrinkly from being in the bag. Yep. I really love how this pattern is working out. It is originally, it's called a Guernsey wrap because it has, the original pattern has another repeat of the pattern across, but because she wants it to be a scarf, I decided I was going to take out one of the repeats and make it, like, I think this is plenty wide to be a scarf. Some stitch markers that Katrina from Cat's Kettle gave me. And these are knit on size 8, I think? Yeah, US size 8, 5mm needles. Show that to you one more time. It's just enough, it's just knits and purls, really simple. But because it changes, you know, in every section, you still have to kind of pay attention to what you're doing with it. So it looks, I don't know, it's really easy, but it's, I don't know, a really like elegant payoff, I think. I think she's really gonna love this. I think it would be good for, like, you know, both male and female too if you wanted to make it for somebody. I think, yeah, it's definitely like a unisex pattern. And as I mentioned before, this yarn is so squishy. It just, like, when you squeeze it, like, exhales air and then inhales air once you let it go. That's how I described it last time. I mean, it is soft, like I said on my first podcast, but the thing about me is just that it's so squishy. I just love it. Again, that was Quince & Co. Lark, their worsted weight yarn. That's back in the bag. So my third work in progress is not something that I showed you last time. This has actually been a work in progress going on probably 4 to 5 years now. I just finished it, the top of it. It's not all the way finished. I just finished this last winter. As I mentioned to you guys, I am a sewer / quilter. I'm by no means a master quilter. My grandmother, on the other hand, my mama, she wins quilting competitions and stuff like that. I think where I go wrong is that I just don't have the patience to cut this. The cutting of the fabric is the worst part of it for me. Sewing, I love. I will sit and, you know, sew at a sewing machine for hours, but the cutting out of the fabrics. I'm just so impatient to get to the sewing part that I just hate sitting there like cutting fabric and like cutting straight lines, and it's just not my thing. Also, just drawing straight lines in general, things that are perfect, not for me. If you've seen my Instagram and some of my drawings, I do these very like loose kind of contour drawings, and I did lettering for a while, but lettering is where you draw like words and typography. But I did some lettering for a while, and just having to draw the straight lines, it really makes your wrists hurt, or like your arm muscles. It's just drawing straight lines, not for me. Cutting straight lines, not for me. So I can't imagine why I thought it would be a good idea to make a 2-inch square quilt. But alas, that is what I did. And after 4 years, the top is finally finished. I'm gonna back out of the frame so you guys can see it a little bit better. I don't even remember where I got this pattern, it's been so long. So obviously all of that is not going to fit in the frame, but you can see more of it than if I stood up close. It's kind of got this brown and white border. I kind of picked out some of the more like dustier tones, the whole thing, so the colors kind of work together because they're all dark and like this dusty color. And then I sort of inserted these pops of neon into it with this yellow and this really bright blue teal color fabric. That's one of these two are one of my favorite fabrics. Actually, those three. I love them all, but really those three. Those are my 3 favorites that are in the quilt. So this is the top. I wanted it to be big enough for a queen size bed. Get situated. I wanted to make it big enough for a queen size bed, but I started running out of the border fabrics, and I'm sure it probably would have been possible to buy more of it, but it had been so long, like I said, at least 4 years ago when I first bought all the fabrics to make this, that I bought everything, so I was worried about having enough, so I just put it off right then and there. Plus, at that point, I was just like really getting tired of making this and wanted it to be done. I'm not going to do the quilting part myself. My aunt has a woman that she knows, that she works with, she's just like a master quilter, and she just does gorgeous work. So I think I'm going to pay her, I'm going to pay her to do the rest of it. At this point, I just like want to shove it all into a bag with the backing fabric, which I'll show you in just a second, and just be like, take it away. I don't want to look at it anymore. I think this is probably, I don't want to say the last, but it'll probably be the last time I ever do something with this intricate of a size of quilt. I've made other ones in the time while I was making this. I think I made 2 while I was working on this for friends, but this is the first one I've ever made for myself. Every other one I've always given away. So this beauty is a labor of love. I love how it turned out. I'm just excited for it to be done. So that's the top. And I keep that at my parents' house. It was at my apartment in New York City, but when I was working on it. But once I finished the top, I've been keeping it at my parents' house with this backing fabric. This is going to be the back of it. I love it. It took forever to find something that I really liked that had enough, because I had to have large quantities. It's kind of this constellations. Back to it. Yep. Love this. Love it, love it. I think it'll look really good, the dark blue with the rest of the quilt. So I can't wait for that to be done. I asked my mom if she'll get it finished for me for Christmas, so it's kind of on my Christmas list right now from her. And I wonder, I think that might be all of my works in progress. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before I get to acquisitions. Like I said, I'm not the fastest knitter, and I've been knitting pretty monogamously on that Doodler, so, and of course the holidays, so I don't really have a ton to show you. Oh, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this, but while I've been knitting on the Doodler, I was just in the wedges section when I was coming home. And it was a 2-leg flight that started in New York, went to Detroit, and then Detroit to Knoxville. And while I was in the airport, I had not 1, not 2, but 3 people try to grab the knitting out of my hands as I was knitting it. I was just like, what are you doing? Who does that? Like, clearly they're not knitters, and they were doing it to be nice. Like, they were curious because they just wanted to see, you know, what I was working on. But I would just like see people's hands like coming toward it and be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, stop that, stop that. And I would just like go with them, like in my head, of course, I didn't say this to them, but I was just like, no, luckily I didn't drop any stitches. And I also, well, I'll say that for a second, but yeah, I didn't drop any stitches, but I was just like, what possesses people to do this? Like, to take it and like put it in their laps? And I'm just, the next person that did it. These are sharp. I'm just kidding. Maybe. So yeah, PSA, don't be grabbing my knitting out of my hands. Okay? I'm really weird. I'm sorry. Yes, okay. So that's it for that. Oh, and I didn't have any problems getting the knitting through security. I threaded lifelines, like a string of yarn through every project I was taking with me, just in case. But nobody said anything to me. And I checked out the TSA guidelines too and had it, you know, printed off and ready, saying that in most cases it's fine. It's sort of ambiguous about, you know, their regulations, but it says for the most part that it should be okay. So it was all right. Yeah. Acquisitions. All right. So, being at home, and I have access to a car and Joann's. There's not really a Joann's or Hobby Lobby, not that I'm not a Hobby Lobby shopper, but Joann's close by to where my family lives here. So it was one of my priorities to buy some more fabric because like I said, I don't really have very many project bags, so I kind of just like want to make some for myself and then also buy some to trade with people whenever I do trades or, you know, send them as gifts, what have you. So I got a lot of fabrics. I'll show you. First one is this cute little sewing machine print. Then I got these little birds. How cute is that? I am a sucker for anything like art related. So I got this Van Gogh Starry Night print fabric. And then this purple and yellow. Purple and yellow are complementary colors, so they kind of bounce off each other and they look really good together. Plus, I don't know, I like these like vintagey type of looking fabrics. This one is this blue. It's kind of like it's hard to tell on here, but it's like a neon pinkish red for the floral. Lots of stripes. I am obsessed with stripes. About half of my closet is probably stripes. I just like, when all else fails, a stripe I feel looks good on me, so that's what I wear. A couple neutrals, kind of has like a little vine print on it. Apologize, my nails are gross. And then my personal favorite. I think Carlin from Carlenergy had a bag like this, if I'm remembering correctly, when we all met up for the Plucky Knitter trunk show. Santa hunks. Santa baby. Yeah. Is this not hilarious? Noel indeed. So, I think it's funny. Oh, man. I also picked up some ribbons to, you know, do the drawstrings. Right now I'll probably stick with drawstrings, which is easy, I think. And then I don't know if you could call this an acquisition, more like a gift. Katrina from Cat's Kettle, when we met up, she made me one of her Japanese knot style bags, because she knows I don't have very many bags. I love it. I love the design of these. I think they're so simple and effective. She also gave me 4 minis of her new Color Stories yarns that she's dyed up. I'm not going to show them because I don't know if she would want me to yet, because she hasn't talked about them on her podcast. She's shown a couple pictures on her Instagram though, so if you're interested in looking, the green one, it is gorgeous. Green is such a hard color to get right too, and she did a really great job. There's so much depth in it. And then she also gave me the rest of her yarn that she dyed up for the cowl that she made me, which I showed on a previous episode, but I don't have it with me right now. It's this lovely burgundy wine purpley color. It's gorgeous. I love it. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna make with this yet, but I think I want to try to make, I think she said I could probably get some mittens out of it, so I might make some mittens to match my cowl. I think that is it. Like I said, monogamous knitting on the Doodler. Oh, I showed you guys a Sirma shawl last week too, but I don't have it with me because I didn't think I was going to get to it while I was here, so didn't bring that with me. But I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you so much to everybody who has reached out with their lovely comments and just all the nice things you have to say. This is the reason why I'm doing this, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a really great rest of your weekend. Bye!